One of the major challenges for Ghana's agriculture is not only about production, it's about what you do after production.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most distasteful thing for a farmer. Even we know that in Ghana, it's not easy to go into production, to access credit, labor, and all that. The challenges that go with agricultural production in this country.
Mm.
Now, if a farmer defies all these odds to produce, and at the end of it, you cannot get market for your produce, then you are likely to lose over 50% of your production cost.
Mm.
And that you cannot continue to produce when much of your cost is not recovered.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience of the onion farmers is falls in line with what we already have as a perennial challenge for agricultural producers in the country.
Why have we not done anything about it?
It's, 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 it's about lack of commitment to doing the right thing. We have, over the period, years back, claimed that agriculture is the backbone of the economy. We, we also know that when agriculture does well, it brings down inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at our national inflation figures, almost 50% and sometimes above 50% of the inflation is caused by agricultural sector. So if you're able to address the agricultural sector, then you bring down your inflation. Apart from that, it is the sector that can create many more jobs for people, particularly in the rural area. And it makes them to stay there instead of moving into the cities and towns where there are no jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what agriculture can do for this country. It serves as the foundation. And most of our industry manufacturing sector takes agricultural produce as raw materials. So it's the foundation. But unfortunately, as you know, and those listening us know, we have not as a country been successful in addressing these challenges over the period.
So that contributes to the wastage that we happen to see along the agricultural value chain. If you happen to hear that 3.2 million metric tons is lost, I'm talking about food, is lost annually. It translates into about 762.32 billion Ghana cedis.
Yes,
How do you feel when you hear some of these figures?
you know, as a farmer myself, and I'm saying this is the most distasteful time for a farmer. After going through all the challenges, you produce and you watch your produce go to waste. Look, if you take yam,
Mm-hmm.
it's a highly perishable crop
Mm-hmm.
or tuber. By the time from the farm gate, it will be transported to the urban center. Most of, I mean, a large proportion of it goes to waste.
Mm.
And we all know, even we those who are in the cities and towns, when you buy yam and go and keep it down, by the time you realize part of it is rotten. So it means from farm gate to the table of the consumer,
Mm-hmm.
much of our food is what?
Wasted.
Wasted. The same thing with all you talk about oranges, you talk about plantain, you talk about what? Just mention tomato, a whole all almost all our agricultural produce. This is how we suffer. So I understand. And that is why if you want to really drive this economy forward,
Mm-hmm.
we must be able to reduce the post-harvest losses on agriculture.
Mm.
In fact, in some of the produce, up to 35%, 40% experience in post-harvest losses.
Mm.
Yeah. And when we talk about post-harvest losses, is from the farm gate to the table of the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you buy the yam example I've given, until you eat it, it can get rotten anytime.
True.
The plantain, until you put it in your mouth, it can get rotten at any time.
True.
All that is considered as what? Post-harvest losses.
Mm-hmm.
And it is huge in Ghana.
If we are to tackle this, what do we need to do? How do we start?
It's a simple matter. Once we know the magnitude of our problem, then we will now know what measures and solutions are appropriate for it. And we must take it gradually. If you take the case of the onion, what are we doing as a country to identify all the areas that produce onions,
Mm-hmm.
the time that they produce it,
Mm-hmm.
or they harvest it, and then how do we support them to get these onions to the market centers? In fact, there is no established, to the best of my knowledge, that ensures that there is ready market for onion producers or rice producers or yam producers immediately they harvest. In fact, if you're a farmer and you go through all this drudgery, and at the end of the day, you have to look for market for yourself, it is, you cannot just do it. So the market part of the produce should be taken up by some other people rather than the farmers. But the reality on the ground is that many of our farmers will have to produce and still look for market for themselves. It makes them inefficient when it comes to marketing side. They may be efficient in production.
True.
And which we should encourage them to do so and allow some the marketing side to be taken over by somebody else. But unfortunately, we have not been able to arrange our agricultural system in that way. But you see, I'm saying it is possible because, or we have done it because, if we take cocoa like this, when we produce, the farmers should concentrate on the production. After production, there are already marketing institutions that will come and take over the cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they do with it, it is no more the concern of the cocoa farmer. We can do this in other areas, crop after crop. You see, and when we do this, give us a decade, we'll be able to solve all these problems, post-harvest losses, bring it down to the lowest level. We can do that. But that's what we are not doing. Come to our market centers. When they bring oranges, what do? They just pour them on the floor.
True.
Or on the ground.
True.
Our plantain, our everything. There is no regulation on how or support on how to store those ones. You see, all these things, these are the things that we need to, and I'm not saying that it can be done overnight, but we must be systematic.
Mm-hmm.
In addressing, that's why I'm even giving a decade. There have been various methods that have been used in the past to try and resolve these matters, but they are short-lived. For instance, you bring plantain from Western North and bring it to Accra, and then you come to the ministries and sell it. We kicked against it. We say it will not go anywhere. Today, where is the result? We just wasted our time, but it will not go anywhere. So we need to have enduring measures and be systematic with them.
Do you have a feeling that the agricultural sector in Ghana specifically has been neglected over a period of time?
I won't say it's neglected. I will say that we don't actually want to understand the agricultural sector.
Okay.
The agricultural sector is like a forest. And when you stand at a distance and look at the forest, you will think that it is one big tree until you get into the forest. When you get into the forest, you see different types of trees and sizes in the forest. When you talk about the agricultural sector, when you get inside there, you break it down. You have rice, you have maize, you have tomato, you have onions, you have this. Their challenges are not exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we fail in doing. We need to break it down and then support them in their needs. And that's why I'm saying that it has to take a systematic approach.
Mm-hmm.
You can adopt, say, rice, and then you want to make sure that you deal with the rice challenge in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You can adopt onions because in every meal, almost every meal, you'll find onions there.
True.
So it is something that we must consume all the time. So what do you do to it? But I am not aware of a systematic, scientific approach to addressing onion production and then storage and so on. And that goes with all the others. So it can be done. But you see, unfortunately, we are too much eager to get results. I mean,
which perhaps stems from our lack of understanding of the agricultural sector.
It's lack of understanding, and then our lack of commitment to doing the basic. It's like a car. You can't overstep certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You move from first gear, you go to second gear, you go to third gear, and so on.
True.
But if you want to jump from first gear to fourth gear, you can spoil the car in any time. So I'm saying that as a country which is to be led by the government and the agricultural sector, is to make sure that we take systematic approach to dealing with it. But unfortunately, we have not been doing that. Sometimes, and the politicians, when they come with very nice slogans, words, what we are going to do. But at the end of the day, they don't do that. Again, let me just cite this example also. If you are sending fertilizer to a farmer or to farmers, first we have to ensure that the fertilizer gets to the farmers.
True.
When it gets to the farmers, it is not enough to stop at that point. You have to also make sure that the fertilizer is used for what it has been given for.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? The farmer can also use part of the fertilizer for that particular farm and sell some of them to make some little money, or take some of the fertilizer and put in another farm and distribute it among a number of farms. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, you will not have the required output. These are things that we have to break it down and do it from regional to district, and then to communities, so that we can have an efficient agricultural production system.
So we need a form of an overhaul of the projects, the programs, and initiatives, and have a proper blueprint that takes into consideration the respective subsectors within the agricultural sector, and then we tackle them looking at the idiosyncrasies or the uniqueness of each of the subsectors. We cannot just have a single blueprint that will be applied to the cocoa sector, to the onion sector, to the cassava sector, to the vegetable production sector, and all of that. We need to have a blueprint that takes critical look at all of these sectors.
Exactly. And then more so, we are not interested in the results. We are so much interested in the intentions of the policies. And policy intentions is one thing. It's like a promise.
True.
Don't be celebrating over promises. Celebrate after outcomes.
We've seen the results, yeah.
And you've seen the results. And this is what we need to do. And then mostly it is about the implementation. And the difficulty is about the implementation, not necessarily the policy. Two people, one person can sit up and write a very nice policy. But when it comes to implementation, you go to the field to implement. And a number of factors come into play.
True.
So the commitment must be there. And it is lack of this managerial commitment that is leading the agriculture sector to be what it is, and which no one is proud of today. If you're a farmer, you just count on your God. You can't predict anything. When you produce, who is going to pick? And I'll tell you today, if you look at the weather conditions, and we are likely to have a bumper harvest of maize and the rest in the country. Price of maize is already dropping.
True.
Now, where is our plan to take care of the bumper harvest?
Yeah.
Before we realize we are there, and everywhere we are now running helter-skelter. So you see, it needs this type of monitoring and planning to take care of things.
Mr. Karewah, it's always insightful having a conversation with you. My final question will be, if we are not able to, for example, some of the suggestions that you've given to us this morning, if we are not able to implement all of them, are we foreseeing possible food security hitting us anytime soon? Food insecurity, I may say.
Yeah, as for Ghana, we have not yet reached a stage of food security. And as a technical person, we should avoid the word food security, using that word food security.
Why?
What is food? When you are going to eat wache, there are a number of things that are put in the wache. Every food we eat. Are we going to be food secured when it comes to maize? Self-sufficient in maize, or in rice, or in onions, or in tomatoes, or in plantain? And so, as a country, we should focus on a number of areas, crops, that we think that we can be sufficient, self-sufficient in them. But that does not mean we should neglect the others. But we should look at where our focus is. When we are looking at the people from Thailand, they are known for what? Rice.
Rice.
Ghana is known for what? Cocoa in the international community. So when it comes to the food crops, what are we known for? You see? So we should break it down that way. But when we are talking about food security, then you can't hold on anybody. And again, because we are unable to store and process our food at the end of harvest, you know, at the harvest time, we have enough. Then come the very few months following, then all is gone. It's rotten. And then we've gone back to hunger. Not necessarily at the national level, but at the individual level.
True.
Because we now need to import. And when, in that case, you see food everywhere, but it is not available to those who need it.
True.
You see, so you go to the rural areas, who are our poor people, and they don't have good food to eat because they have no incomes. And because there's high unemployment in Ghana, many people don't have incomes to be able to access quality food. So again, it affects our quality of food and their food security. So it's not just about the availability of the physical food stuff you see, but it's about also the ability of Ghanaians to access that food, particularly our Ghanaian compatriots who are below the poverty line.